Thursday. At the meeting, there were some questions asked about the city's plan to make West Irving safe for our children that gonna be getting off of buses and all that from up at Locust all the way to where he's going. No sidewalks. The buses come down picking up the kids from school to pick them up for school. Then you're talking about 425 students gonna be driving cars. I think it's a good idea for them to build this situation, but it's very dated. But how are we gonna get down into that property when they start loading bulldozers, heavy equipment, all those things on the half-built West Irving?
Preliminary subdivision approval to allow the developer the opportunity to do the studies necessary to be able to ensure and measure the impact that is going to happen on the community during that particular time, especially when it comes to ingress and egress over city-controlled streets and alleyways, especially knowing the fact the school bus runs, how it's going to affect the fact that there are no sidewalks on portion of West Irving. That's one reason that the Planning Commission years ago now changed subdivision requirements to require new subdivisions to have sidewalks for the very reasons that you're talking about right now. You can't make somebody give up give up property to put in a sidewalk now. That's an impossible thing to get people to do. However, that is something that has to be taken into consideration, even in a proper development. Something we also have to keep in mind in all these times is that one thing that we have in America is the absolute freedom to have free alienation of your property. If you own your property, you get to do something with it. That doesn't mean you have to conform to the rules and regulations that should apply, and how it affects public health and safety along with it. So these are the exact concerns that we're listening about, and why preliminary approval is so very important, not just rushing to final approval before plans are on the books. I'll take any more comments. Anybody else who would like to speak to this application?
I'm here because I want you to know that we're concerned. What Mr. Barnett has said holds true, I'm sure, for most of us who are here tonight. And we understand what you've said has been very clear, but we want you to understand that we are interested, we are concerned, we love our community, we love Florence. So what I would like to say is that although I live in another district, I attend church on West Irving Street. And I have for most of my life. I'm concerned about persons who are attending service there, not just on Sundays and Wednesdays, but we actually work in the community as well. And there are other churches who come and they actually fellowship with us. We have activities there where we actually have come to the city and asked for the street to be blocked because the crowd is so large, and we want to make sure that the children as well as the adults are safe.
And I have is speed breakers were put there approximately 2 years ago. It didn't slow down that small amount of traffic. So now we're talking about approximately 1,500 to 2,000 cars every day with 400 people there. Because you're going to be coming in and out. You're going to have friends and relatives coming in and having parties. So I don't see how you can really make it that safe for those residents. A lot of them are old and the children are there. So I don't see how you can really make it a safe travel unless you're going to put a stoplight in every block to slow the traffic up.
Now, with the speed breakers that we have now in West Irving, it hasn't really caused the cars to really slow down, to be slow as they should. And I just feel that it's already an unsafe situation. So we're asking that we realize economically $1 is fine. Everybody's trying to make a buck. We understand that. But please take into consideration an alternate route if that property is to be developed We're not opposing that. We just want to make sure that you take all things into consideration. Thank you so much for listening, and we will be listening as to what you do as a committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else here to speak to this application?
Y'all show us where, I just heard of somebody at Florence dump, that was previously, the location, where was that located at? And is it gonna be safe for the, the UNA students, if there's gonna be UNA students there or anybody else that's living there, is it gonna be safe for them?
It's actually south.
It would be that property right there.
Okay, so it's not located near that, so you won't have to worry about any gas or anything like that that could leak out the ground or anything?
The property is under monitoring by the solid waste department and AVM.
Okay.
And maybe even EPA, but I cannot speak to that specifically, but it will be monitored forever.
And that goes
It's
back
not
to the
a-
ADM requirements, and, any development over an acre, they're going to be looking at this property, especially knowing history of not close, but somewhat nearby property as
It's
well.
not adjacent to, but, it is in the area.
What are it again?
So the red outline is what is the subject property we've been talking about tonight, and then where Ben has the red pointer dot. You can see that even where it's been sodded, that where the rest of the property around it is sort of more wild, you can tell in the different color on the aerial photograph.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
President of the NAACP for 28 years. I just want to say one thing that I do know. I trust Dean Graves. I believe that Dean Graves has selected this developer. He intended to do the right thing because it's Dean Graves. Like his late grandfather, they always want to do what's right. But I rise to say, when I was on the council, we was always looking for a trick, something to improve West Florence. Well, it didn't happen during my 20 years, but it's happening now. So I hope that we as a community would take advantage of this trick. And for the residents, all traffic is not bad. If you're in business, you want traffic. So we want some good traffic.
The District 1 representative for District 1. I just want everybody to know that I am in support of this development, this proposed development. I do understand it's going through the rezoning, and I just asked the commission, and I know that you would do your due diligence in listening to everything that the citizens have said in regards to the traffic study. That is certainly very an important component. Listen to that, and I know that you'll make the right decision. I know that could be certainly a win for West Florence if this is able to happen, but safety in the traffic is certainly vital in another entrance to this project. So just thank you for your time. Thank you.
I can see development along West College Street. I can see development along West Mobile Street. When I came here, we had 2 cab stands and a service station and a host of stores. We don't have that now. I envision by giving a chance to see that again in my lifetime. And I understand traffic, but I'm saying let's embrace the good part of the traffic. And for those of us who want economic development, let us partner with this development. See, can we get closer to the development? We got some proper certified hairstylists in our community. So maybe we want to build a hairstylist on the property. I can see Wilson developing for goods and services. We have had difficulty for pizzas to be delivered to West Florence. I can see now maybe some pizza want to overlook some of these vacant buildings that we have. So I rise to say I trust Ben Graves. He wouldn't have selected this developer if he didn't think it was going to benefit this community. I just want to say I support the effort. It didn't happen in my 20 years, but it's happening now. It's a new beginning, so let's take advantage of the new beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Road where the actual development is when you get in. And obviously, I'm assuming that, I don't know what the City of Florence plans are or what the comprehensive plan says about this, but obviously if you have a particular area of town that begins to grow or has economic development, I'm assuming that over time, what ends up happening is we start looking at plans to help control some of that traffic from the city standpoint as well. Do we not? I mean, because ultimately what I'm hearing is, concern-wise, is not happening right at the piece of property the developer's looking at. It's more in line with what happens down the road from that. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, there, in order for, and again, this is a functionality of engineering, but I'm going to, as a member of the city's traffic committee, and I tried to put you on it just then. In order for those speed cushions to have been placed on West Irvine, it would have had to have met certain criteria. One of those being excessive speed. So clearly, if and actually, I'm glad that Mr. Batson is here tonight because if those speed cushions were installed 2 years ago and there are still issues, then that gives him the mechanism he needs to review, what's going on out there, and if that means getting, Florence PD involved, if it's a speeding issue, then that's what they can do. As far as but the comprehensive plan and the West Florence area plan are concerned, we specifically targeted West Irvine for the installation of sidewalks with street trees or traffic calming, because it will slow traffic down to have those means available. Not only that, but it provides an alternative mode of transportation. And I will say that, I've been in contact with Councilwoman Simmons about putting some preliminary budget numbers together to try to look at doing that along West Irvine. Our community development block grant has invested nearly $1 million in infrastructure, both stormwater, water and sewer lines, and sidewalks. It's going to take, some additional monies to make that happen, but, it is happening. To address the issues that are happening now, traffic-wise, I think there are mechanisms to do that outside of this plan, but outside of this project, but also as part of this project.
That's something that we're fortunate with having a good piece of property here that is ripe for the development, that would support a community that needs support in it. What we have a benefit of that we didn't have in the last contentious subdivision we have that was in the extraterritorial jurisdiction is that we actually have some input into the engineering and traffic within our town. So we're in better shape than we are in other ones to impact the development positively for the community, but still have growth. I think Mr. Pendleton says it's best. We've been looking for triggers to support and develop the west part of the city that could lead to further infrastructure improvements and development of businesses as it goes on.
And I know, Mr. Chairman, you have reiterated this numerous times, but preliminary approval, again, we're talking about a concept, so to provide both the owner and the developer the ability to get these studies underway to determine what the ultimate impact would be. That's where we are. There's still several iterations of this project that will have to come before you after tonight. This is by no means the end, should preliminary approval be recommended.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Bailey. So we'll go with the agenda style, and I have a request for preliminary subdivision approval of 93.4 acres, specifically subject to all departmental comments as well as the requirement of a traffic study to be submitted. Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Dr. Cody. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second by Mr. Blanton. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor by a show of hands. That does carry unanimously. Mr. McKenna. Now we have a request for a recommendation of rezoning from R1 to R3 of 13 acres. Do I have a motion, subject to all departmental comments with requirement of a traffic study? I have a motion by Mr. Stevenson. Do I have a second? And a second by Ms. Hubbard. Do we have any discussion on the motion? All in favor by a show of hands? Thank you very much. That also carries unanimously. This is a recommendation only to the City Council for rezoning, but you do have your preliminary subdivision approval for the property as well. Thank you very much and best of luck. We look forward to seeing you again as well as we address the concerns of the community.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That we have a very good owner of property that has always strived to do the right thing. And hopefully he has chosen a very good developer. However, we have an area of Florence and West Florence, and I've lived with Mr. Pendleton for this many years here. Him, of course, longer than I have, bless him. But also, we have a chance here, hopefully, if we do it right, and if we take care of the neighborhood as it is, we'll even be bringing a neighborhood back and spurring business with it, adding for extra development. We have really got to get this right, because if we don't, Mr. Pendleton will tell my mother, and my mother will have words with me. Also, I want to thank Mayor Holt, Mr. Pendleton, thank you for being here, sir. Councilman Jordan, Councilman Simmons, Councilman Eubanks, thank you for being here. Mr. Batson, Mr. Bonner, thank you as well. Mr. Thompson, Mr. Mayor.
May I have a word?
Sure. You're the mayor. You have that privilege.
Well, then let's get this down here when I'm talking.
All right.
If you have seen Southern Living in the last month or so, you noticed that Florence, Alabama was ranked in the top 10 small cities in the Southeast and a place to live.
Right.
But I say that to say, you all, I want to thank you all because you do so much more than just sit here on this planning commission. Last week we had our urban forestry and horticulture conference that a lot of you were involved in. We also last Saturday had a pickup day for litter that produced 406 volunteers produced 11,660 pounds of litter. Now, on the one hand, I said, that's just inexcusable. We're better than that, but every community's facing that. But you all got out and did it, and so thank you for doing so much more than you do just sitting here on the planning commission. You're engaged and you're involved, and so your heart's where your planning is, and I thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
For those that don't know you, could you introduce yourself, sir?
My name's Phil Stevenson. I'm the, besides being on the planning commission, I'm the purchasing agent and media director for the city of Florence.
For the city of Florence. And there were, how many people were up there on the table?
There are, I think, 9 members of the planning commission. Not sure how many were there today.
You have experience. What's your opinion about Florence? What the future? Do you think we have potential to grow?
You know, growth is can be looked at in 2 ways. Growth can be looked at as improvement. And I definitely think we're going to see improvement. The new hospital. I think the downtown expanding eastwardly out Tennessee Street is going to be a thing that will happen. This development, potential development in West Florence. There's a lot going on in a lot of different sections of Florence that would be cause for improvement. Now that would be a matter of growth. Now will we grow in population? I think there's a fair chance that there'd be a minimal growth in population. But I think our real potential in the near future is more growth and improving. You try to be on the planning commission, try to be open-minded about things. Try to look at positive aspects. Of course, you do want to know, of course, any negative impacts that developments can have, and there's certainly some that are there, as we heard tonight. Potential for traffic is concerning the neighborhood now, so that is something that you look for. But my approach to voting is I'll go and look and try to make my decision beforehand, and then if I hear something
said that I was unaware of that would change my position, then I'll try to do that. I'll try to take that into consideration. But yeah, I think we're a progressive type city. I think we come in open-minded and we look at things from a positive type attitude. Trying to be as transparent with things and make things as anything that happens is important to the people it's going to happen to. So its relative importance to me is one thing, but the importance to hear from the people that'll be impacted directly, that's something that we shouldn't just ought to do, but it is something I said that backwards, something that we really try to do, but I think it is something that we ought to do also.
Right. Well, thank you for being on, is it
Planning Commission? Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And a pleasure meeting you.